Hey Leo, Mariah here. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. Of course, I gotta explain this every time my background changes, but this time, no, I did not move, but they're currently building a new home right next to my bedroom. And on the opposite side of my home, they're doing some kind of excavation. So I literally have no place to be quiet except for in this room. So hopefully you don't mind the background change. Just bear with me. If you know moving process, you know there's always some kinks, but I still want to hop into your reading. So what I want to look at for you today, Leo, is I want to see what is it that you need to know and what's going on, what is happening. Of course, we are still in October, hopping into the second week, and I want to understand what's imperative for you to understand at this time. So, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, God, when it comes to Leo, what is it that they need to know the most as of right now? We have creative projects. It's time to get things done. Make your creative projects a priority now. And let's get another one. Restlessness. Find a way to calm the waters of your mind. Some of you have been really busy. Limiting beliefs. Why does it feel like you're trying to get something off the ground? It reminds me of the Wright brothers when they were testing out different models of planes before they was able to really execute it. It feels like you're either doing something that may be creative, maybe you're figuring out something, but it's like you're in the process of it. I'm trying to understand what this is because I feel like there's something much deeper underneath this energy. I just am touching the surface. When your life is uprooted, somebody's trying to find their footing. Somebody's trying to find their understanding in life right now. And maybe you've been trying to look at it from different ways, right? Creatively thinking or even critical thinking. That's what this is. Somebody is struggling to redefine their life purpose or their purpose at this time in their life, who they are at this time. I feel like I just dealt with a client, similar energy to this. But that's what this reminds me of. It's like you're no longer the Leo that you were, but you haven't made it on the other side, right? So you're kind of in this purgatory energy where you're trying to just, if you will, you're going through your day-to-day reality as you should, but it's almost like some form of cognitive dissonance or some type of disassociation. It's like you're going through the motions, but you're not actively partaking in life in the way that you once did or once had at one point. So now you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what brings me meaning? What brings me fulfillment? What satisfies my soul? What satiates my emotions? Maybe there's a creative project you have in mind that you feel like is a part of your life purpose. And maybe we're restless about bringing it to fruition or figuring out how to bring it to fruition. Maybe we're trying to bring it into fruition and it's leaving us restless. I want to see a little bit more about your energy. What is this here for Leo? What else do they need to know? All right, let's see. What else do you guys need to know about this? We got the Six of Wands. We got the Eight of Pentacles. We got the Knight of Wands in the reverse. And the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Cups. So that's where you're at. Like, you know, on a soul level, heartfelt, that you want to do something that has a larger meaning than yourself, right? Contribution, whether it's contribution to others, contribution to society, something that makes life worth living for, something that makes life even further meaningful. And I have to give a side message for my ones because it feels like for some of you guys, you have the type of personality where you accomplish something and then 5 minutes later, okay, what's next? I got to keep going. And it's like you may have a hard time or find yourself having a hard time to slow down and smell the roses, right? When things go right or you hit that milestone or you achieve that next accomplishment, it's like we can only stay in that bubble for so long before it's like, okay, we're setting our sights on a new achievement or a new accomplishment. And though we may be running and pacing ourselves through life of going on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, time after time of that, you're going to feel like you're spinning your wheels in emotion, but where's the true fulfillment in it? And that's because we're not taking those moments when we are achieving our fulfillment to really embrace it. This takes me back into your energy, right? Side message for some, if you connect with that. That's where I come back to you, Leo, because you do feel like you're meant for much more. You're meant to achieve much more. You're meant to accomplish much more. Whether that is some kind of status in society, whether it's professionally, whether it is being able to be a generational curse breaker and do it like the others in your family lineage couldn't do it before, right? Maybe you're the first generation of X, Y, and Z, right? First generation of getting married, going to university, maybe moving out of your country, maybe having better relationship skills, right? Maybe getting better paying or better employed jobs. You just know that you are predestined for something much greater than what you've experienced, something much more meaningful outside of yourself. But it feels like the work that you're doing on a day-to-day basis isn't really, at least as far as results, you're not really seeing it get you to where you know you need to be or where you know you want to be. It just feels like, again, you're just spinning your wheels, going through the motions, going through your everyday journey, everyday life, wanting things to pick up, feeling restless, being in the restlessness, right? Feeling restless because we're in this purgatory. We're not seeing necessarily the results that we want to see yet. So this brings me into, again, your purpose, because I think we're wanting to latch or attach ourselves onto something that brings us back that feeling and that fulfillment in life that gives us a greater sense of meaning or a greater sense of value. And this takes me into where you're at in life, especially with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse and just feeling the energies. Really, I don't even need the cards. I'm going to just speak from what I'm feeling energetically and from the heart. You really have to take a dissecting look at where you're at right now. Because when you look at your life's purpose, Leo, we tend to relegate our life's purpose to things that may benefit us or that we find is needed for us to fulfill at a certain point of our lives. So let's say you're a Leo that's in your 20s. Your purpose may be to go to university and college so that way you can have this great career because you want to break generational curses, or you may feel like, you know what, my purpose is to be of service to others, or maybe get married. Whatever you feel like your purpose is at that stage of your life, when you get into your 30s or 40s, your purpose is going to change. And for any of my subscribers that are watching that are in their later seasons of life, I'm sure you can attest what you thought was your purpose in your 20s is definitely not your purpose in your 40s and 50s. And that's okay. Purpose is not linear and it's not black and white. It's nuanced. It's ever changing because you're ever changing. Your desires are ever changing, but there is a need, especially with this Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, to have some level of acceptance that what you associated your identity to at a certain point in your life no longer exists with who you are today. So this is you having to redefine, Leo, who you are. Two of Cups. What really connects with you? Two of Cups. What aligns with you on emotional and soulful level? When we think about our identity, which links back to our purpose, we tend to lean our identity on, I'm a mother, I'm a college grad, I'm a great friend, I'm a great daughter, or, you know, I have this role in life, or I have these roles in these people's life. And that's all great. But when those things are stripped, or when those mountains of milestones that you've already accomplished, which takes me into that side message of smell the roses when you reach the reward. When you've already accomplished those things and now those mountains are behind you, now you're in a space of, well, who am I now? I've already been the mother. I've already been the scholar. I've already been the employee. I've already been the wife. I've already been the husband. I've already been the ex, whatever it may be. Who are you today? And that's where we come back into this creative projects energy of having to understand our identity and what aligns with us, this creative thinking, getting into creative projects, getting into creative hobbies. Maybe we've already gotten into them right now, whether it's through our work, our interests, whether it is something that allows us to use our imagination. Or on the flip side, creatively thinking, really sitting with yourself. I know who I was previously as a Leo, right? I was the dad, I was the father, I was the friend, I was this and that. But where you sit today does not mean those things no longer holds true for you. But now you have to redefine who you truly are as of now in this stage of your life. And what that contribution looks like, where you would benefit as a byproduct of what you're giving to other people through your purpose. What truly aligns with the soul. So I think it could be a little bit frustrating because we may be in that stage. Maybe not all of you, but you may be in that state where it's like, okay, universe, give me a sign, or allow some dominoes to fall so I know which way to walk, or, please present an opportunity to me so I can get out of feeling stuck, right? Sometimes we wait on the universe to give us some form of insight, some form of clarity, or some kind of direction to guide and lead us. Which, don't get me wrong, sometimes there are seasons where we have to be passive and take the back seat. But I think if we will, maybe restlessness, annoyance, where that's coming in is when we are sitting still in uncertainty. When we're sitting still in the I don't know, or where do I go? Even if we're talking to spirit about, hey, guide my footsteps so I know where to be led, and still feeling like you're not getting messages, or you're not receiving the downloads on this. And that can create restlessness and frustration, more so annoyance than anything, dealing with this. And it feels like spirit is saying to you, you don't have to be annoyed. You have to start and you have to start over and scorch the earth, right? Completely from ground zero. Who are you, Leo? And I'll take that as a confirmation. Who are you, Leo? Who are you today? What does that look like? And you cannot rely on your identities of yesteryear. So as of today, not relying on those. Who are you? And if you don't know, then that's a part of your journey where you have to go discover and find that out within yourself. And once you do discover and find out, okay, what do I like in this new season in my life that I can't rely on being a mom anymore. I can't rely on being a husband anymore. I can't rely on being a parent anymore. Or, I'm a accountant, or I am a tax, Who am I? And through discovering yourself, through redefining who you are, and that's being able to get back engaged in life so that way you're not going through the motions, so that way you're not dealing with this cognitive dissonance or this disassociation. You got to be an active participant in your reality. But to do that, you got to know what groups or what environments or what people or what things to associate yourself with. And if it's not aligning with your spirit, the current things that are in your life, is because your spirit's repelling it. Because those things that aligned with you at one point is a part of your old identity that you no longer carry. So now it's time to shape a new one. So I want to see a little bit further. Why is this Knight of Fire here? Okay. And that same Two of Cups that was on the bottom of the deck is now coming in the reverse with the Hierophant in the upright right underneath it. And let's see. Two of Wands. So it's up to you. It's really up to you. This is one of those situations where you don't have to stay stuck in purgatory. I don't want to say it's self-imposed either, because if you don't know the steps of how to get out of this, you just don't know. Yes, you can give it time, and through time, you will eventually get out of this space. But if you're wanting to be proactive and you're like, I don't like sitting in this space of not knowing what my purpose is, or I'll take it as one more confirmation. If you don't like sitting in this space of I don't know what my purpose is, or I don't know what I'm doing with myself, or what to do next with myself, or what I really want, right? And you're just going through the motions of life. This is asking you to really sit with yourself for a second, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a day, however long that may be, and take a moment to be inactive. And if you can really take that moment to be inactive forever, how long that may be, again, a day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can afford and allow, that is a time where you have to move into a state of acceptance, it feels like. Really sitting with yourself of, I don't like this. I don't like being this. I want to know what I need to do. I just don't like going through the motions of life, or I don't like maybe these limiting beliefs I have on myself, or certain patterns that I keep showing up in, or I keep showing out with, and it's not getting me ahead. It's just keeping me stuck in this cycle of purgatory. You have to give yourself that reality check and say, I'm not who I was. I'm something that has not even been born yet. And because now I'm aware that the new version of me has now not been born yet, I get to fully, while my new self is in incubation, I get to fully reshape who I once was to something that I will be. But you have to sit with yourself and not be active, but be a little passive to really allow things to digest. And it's hard because you got things going on. You got your career, you got your family, you got maybe your kids, you got your friends, you got personal things you got to do. So we don't always have the time to just mute our minds and just sit and figure out, universe, God, what do I need to do? But it is asking you to carve out time if you are in this space. Anything else you could tell me for Leo at this time as we wrap up? I'm getting the phrase, and I've seen this before, I'm getting the phrase, you're not healed, you just isolated yourself. So for some of you out there, Knight of Swords in the reverse, Strength in the reverse, and the Temperance in the reverse. For some of you, you may feel like you've healed, especially if maybe you've gone through some circumstances that have put you in this place of maybe having to redefine your life purpose, or feeling like you're just going through the motions of life. All right, Leo, I'm so sorry. I lost my train of thought. But what I was saying was that you're not for all of you, but just as a side message, some of you are not healed. You've just been isolating yourself. So because we've been isolating ourselves, we haven't been around people or circumstances to have us triggered, to see how much healing we've done, or to see where we need to go back and maybe course correct some of the healing that we've done. So through this process of redefining your identity and knowing, okay, well, I'm not who I was. I can't rely on these old identities anymore. I have to figure out who I am now to then understand what my purpose is. You're going to be placed, again, not all of you, just side message, but some of you are going to be placed in circumstances where through trying to figure out who you are, you will be triggered. And you will be triggered because you haven't had anybody, or you may have not been ingrained in society in the way that you're being asked to understand your new identity, to see where the healing maybe still needs to be done, or where it needs to be worked at, or what we need to maybe change with some of the healing that we did do. So you're going to see through this process of, and this is going to be a part what you learn from this process, right? The growing process of it. You're going to learn and further sharpen what your purpose is through understanding who you are today, right? Just keep in mind, and I know a lot of times when we look at our purpose, we think from an expansive view of our entire life, right? Encompassing our entire life. But keep in mind, who you are in your 20s is not who you are in your 30s. Who you are in your 30s is not who you are in your 40s. Who you are in your 40s is definitely not who you are in your 50s, 60s. Each and every decade you change. Anyone, again, of my older subscribers that are watching, you can attest to this. You can truly attest to it. So it's not about finding that purpose that encompasses or expands your entire life. It's what is your purpose that encompasses and expands your entire right now. Because that is a season you're in. You can't focus on a season you haven't even entered into yet. What is your purpose now? And that's what Spirit is asking you to sit with yourself and look at. So this was definitely an interesting message. I will say personally, I've had this question asked even by clients. So I don't know, maybe some of my clients are tuning in with this reading and just wanting more information. I don't know. But nonetheless, I'm going to leave this here. Hopefully this helps who it needs to help. Again, don't mind the plain background. I'm just going through the motions of moving. But leave a comment in the, not the description box, but leave a comment in the comment box below if this has connected. And also if you would like a personal reading, that link is actually in the description box. So you guys, you have a good one. You be blessed. You take care.